Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, today's Friday. It's the time for the update. And you know, last Friday I was down the Everglades. You saw me waiting around in that area just south of Lake Okeechobee. There was a little bit of a storm coming up, and I was using this big topwater plug right here, and I was expecting to catch some really big fish. I was also using my favorite Senko. I was having a good time. But what happened last week, right after I did that little "What's Happening, Roland" deal, a big storm came up and we didn't get much chance to fish. You know, I was talking all about the good fishing we'd had the week before with my son Scott and my grandson Reed and my grandson Jacob. We'd been out dolphin fishing. We were also out night cabera fishing, and we were in Scott's 42-foot Freeman. It's a great big boat, and the family properties that I have down there in Islamorada. But anyway, I talked all about that last week. And we really had a great time working with 3 generations of martins. That was really cool. The grandsons, and of course my son Scott and myself, and we caught a few fish. But you know, the problem with that last week, Hurricane Ida was just 100 miles off the coast of, well, in this case it was the coast of Cuba. And it was really rough, and we just got seasick, and we caught a few fish, but it was just a really kind of a disaster. Now, speaking of a disaster, when I was fishing the other day down in the south of the Everglades, everything was really cool. And I just made a nice long cast with my favorite lure, and I just finished the film, and I just caught a pretty nice bass, about 3 pounds. I said, boy, I'm going to get a nice film. I'm wading around with the canoe, and I've got my favorite Senko, and I've thrown out there, and I was just real calm and collected, holding a nice high rod, just ready to go, and all of a sudden, tap, 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 I set the hook, I started reeling this bass in. All of a sudden, kaboom, a lightning hit. Son, I'm out of here. I do not fool with that lightning. That lightning killed my granddaddy. I've had a phobia against it all my life. When lightning comes, I gotta leave. And so that's what we did. We left the Everglades, and we didn't make a film. We just didn't get a film. But anyway, the week went along, and it was a pretty good week. And then Sunday, what happened Sunday was really kind of crazy. This is another kind of disastrous deal. I pick up these 2 guys from West Palm Beach, and we're going to go out to Headwaters Pond. Headwaters is that place near Vero Beach where I go all the time. It's that 10,000-acre reservoir that I've just been fishing all the time now. I've caught a 12-pound bass. I caught some 10-pound bass. It's just really, really great fishing. I told these guys, I promise we're going to get a 7-pound bass. I just promise you anything in the world. Well, it's before dawn. If the sun has not come up, and I'm coming down the canal, I just put the boat on plane, and I'm running down for a nice day's fishing, and guess what happened? The steering, my steering on my bass boat, it just froze up. It just all of a sudden, it just went clunk. I couldn't turn the wheel, not even a little bit. I'm going to run right towards the bank. Well, I shut the engine down. I can't make the motor turn even a little bit. And I'm thinking now, how am I even going to get back to the boat dock? And I told these guys, I said, we're going to have to get back to the boat dock. We got to go make this fishing trip another day. But then I got to thinking, the motor's kind of straight. Why can't I take my trolling motor and just start steering down the canal? So that's what I had one of the guys do. He ran the engine. He ran the big 250 horsepower 4-stroke engine just at an idle. And I'm sitting up there with my Ultrex trolling motor, and I'm steering the boat. We get down to this first spot, and I said, okay, folks, we'll just try it real quick. We'll see what happens. And I said, by the way, what's your favorite way of fishing? And this one guy says, oh, my favorite way is no doubt a Senko. So right off the bat, he throws out second or third cast. He catches a nice 3-pound bass on a Senko. I said, oh, that's cool. I put it on a Senko. I caught a fish. The other guy caught a fish. We're starting to catch fish on Senkos. I said, well, I know another spot that's only a mile from here. Take us 20 minutes to get there. We'll idle out there, and I'll steer with the trolling motor, and we'll go to that spot. We went to that spot, Senkos again, bam, 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 another 5 or 10 fish. By this time, it's 10 o'clock, and it's too late to go back. We're kind of making a day out of it. We're catching fish after and on. So I said, let's go to a spot. It's a little bit dingy. I got a spot that's kind of dingy water. Hey, I got a secret lure. I got a lure that's so cool. I'll show you what it is. This lure here made the day. This lure here is that's the chatterbait. Now that's the Jackhammer series like you've seen me use the jackhammer. And on that jackhammer, that's a white half-ounce jackhammer. I'm running on 50-pound braid. That is a Yamamoto D-Shad. Now look at this. I want to show you something in the water. That's so cool. Look at this thing track around. Look at it. Kind of sometimes it's just vibrating now, but on a long cast, it just kind of seemed to track. Now this one, maybe I have to adjust the thing, but the one I was using, maybe I'll adjust this thing a little bit different. It would track back and forth, and really kind of cool. Anyway, this one's kind of tracking, and I just kind of, oh, there's a fish just kind of rolled at it. Not many fish in here, but see that thing? You're talking about a really good deal. I don't know what that thing looks like. That looks like some kind of a, I don't know what's in the water. You know, we're supposed to be matching the hatch when we fish. I guess that looks like a minnow. I mean, it makes a vibration. It looks like a minnow running through the water. So anyway, 4-pound bass, 5-pound bass, a bunch of 3-pound bass. Hey, inside of no time, we'd caught by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we'd caught like 40 bass. And it was a successful day. Even though we didn't catch that 7-pounder, I tell you what I did. I had these guys on pins and needles. I said, the next cast, you're doing so well with that Senko, the next cast, you're gonna catch one. You're doing so good on that with the jackhammer, you're gonna catch another one. You're gonna catch a 6 or 7-pounder the next guy. Well, I had them all pumped up. And that's the thing about fish in Florida. There's so many big fish down here that it's just inevitable that if you make enough good casts in the right kind of area, you're going to catch a really big fish. And so you got to be ready. You got to be on pins and needles. You got to check your knot. You got to get your stance right. You got to be concentrating on that big fish. Have your drag adjusted properly. That's another big deal. Have a net ready. All these things are just part of catching a big fish, because you just don't by accident, just lazy like, just catch big fish. You got to kind of prepare for it, be ready for it. Anyway, we didn't catch a real big one, but we caught lots of nice bass. Well, anyway, that was really kind of a cool deal. I'm getting ready to leave in the morning to Nashville, Tennessee, because the Bass Pro Shop is having their 5th big tournament of the year. It's called the US Open Series, and that's that $1 million tournament where in November, at the middle of November, there'll be a big $1 million championship tournament for all the top 40 people. See, in all these qualifying tournaments like we're fishing now, like I'm going to Nashville, and I went to here in Florida, and I went out to Vegas, and I went up to Lake St. Clair for the smallmouth. We did all these different venues. Well, anyway, what we did, we're getting ready. The top 40 people have a tournament. They have the tournament at the end of the year in November. It's $1 million payoff for the first prize. $1 million for one place. Anyway, we're all looking forward to that. That's really going to be something. By the way, I just want to talk about this tournament in a second. The U.S. Open is an effort for conservation. All the 250 teams in each tournament, all their entry fee monies, 100% of their entry fee monies goes to conservation. Now, Johnny Morris, whether you know it or not, he's kind of shy about this. He doesn't like me to talk about it, but he's the largest contributor to conservation ever. I mean, he's the modern day Teddy Roosevelt, without a doubt. He's taken all those millions of dollars. In fact, if I told you that it's somewhere around $100 million over the years that he's had made contributions of, out of his own personal pocket and out of Bass Pro Shop corporate property pockets as well. Anyway, Bass Pro Shop is leading the way in conservation, and that's what this tournament's doing right now. All the entry fee monies and all the proceeds go to conservation. Well, anyway, I'll be with Jimmy Houston. Jimmy Houston is going to be there with me. We're going to be signing autographs. We're going to be talking to the all the contestants there, and we're going to kind of give them a pep talk and give them a little information if they want to, but mainly just kind of helping out with the format, helping out with the tournament, and doing things like signing autographs and taking pictures. That seems like what Jimmy and I do. By the way, Jimmy's wife Chris had a real bad stroke back in April, and she's making a slow recovery. She's still in a wheelchair. She's having some problems with some paralysis on her right side. It's getting along a little better. There's some improvements. It's just a slow process. So anyway, it's just really been a heartfelt thing, and I've been keeping up with Jimmy. And I know you've probably seen on his YouTube channel, by the way, Jimmy's over 100,000 in his subscriptions now. So he's really doing good, and he's done a lot of work with Chris, trying to keep her in all this rehab, trying to get her back fishing again. Because what you might not realize is Chris Houston was the champion woman fisherman of all times. I mean, she set more records than any woman ever in the Bass and Gal tournament circuit and all these other tournament circuits she fished. And so she wants to get back on the water, and she's not quite able yet, but it's going to matter of time. She'll be back catching those bass just like we all want to do. Well, listen, folks, so thanks for subscribing, and I'll tell you more about what's happening. I got some really neat things. Oh, my Lowrance active target thing came in. You saw me going out at night with Jerry Brousseau, and we were doing night fishing. I would spot the fish on the active target, and I'd take the chatterbaits and I'd take the jigs, and we'd throw it to them and the spinnerbaits, and we caught fish by throwing to the targets on the depth finder. Well, my new units come in, my boat's getting fixed, it's going to be all back. So I think for the next couple of weeks I'm going to be doing a lot of that electronic work, trying to use that active target and try to really pinpoint those fish. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. We'll see you again soon.